Welcome back to the Happiness Games for Romantic Relationships. Today, we will explore disorganized attachment styles. I will first differentiate between the normal push and pull in early dating versus in long-term relationship, the persistent pattern of push-pull, which is very typical of disorganized attachment. We will look at it from somatic parts work perspective, and we will always have a guided meditation in the end with some tips for the partner who is more leaning on the disorganized attachment style spectrum. If you don't know me, my name is Zhao Martins. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist in the state of California. I'm a specialist in somatic couple therapy. I have trainings in somatic psychology, in couples therapy, and I receive ongoing training with the System Center Therapy Research and Training Institute. Let's begin. So first, let's take a look at what is the normal push and pull in dating, in early dating. So when two people just start to get together, they're attracted to each other, there's a lot of chemicals going on in their brain and in their body, and there's a lot of unknowns. So they're trying to learn about each other. So there might be moments of one partner putting a lot of energy into this new budding relationship, and the other person's more on the stepping back and receiving end, and they switch. Someone decided to go back to their own personal life and their professional life to stabilize, to center. So you will see a withdrawal, like a pull, while when they pursue the other person more and asking time together, that's more like a push, right? So both people can be in this dance together while people are trying to figure out what the other person is, what kind of relationship they want to be in and build together. So the push and pull at early dating is very normal and healthy. While the push-pull persistent push and pull dynamic in disorganized attachment feels very differently in the body for the person who is push-pulling and for the partner as well. For the partner who is leaning more on the disorganized attachment style, there could be within days or even a couple hours within the day, they feel this urge to pursue their partner, want to spend time, want to be co-regulated by their partner. And at the same time, or very soon, they really feel they need to close their boundary and push out the other person. This feels too close. So if you're thinking about driving a gas-driven car, it's like one foot on the gas you want to pursue and pushing forward, the other foot on the brake while you're like pushing the other person away. It's very confusing. There's a lot of tension in there. So what does it look like in the body is if you think about hands reaching out, but it's disconnected from the joint between your arm and your shoulder joints. There's a disconnection energetically, reaching out, trying to pull the other person in, but in the same time, it's locked in the joint by pushing them out. It's a very uncomfortable position if you're holding for a long time because energy are not flowing freely. They're internally conflicting each other. And for the partner of disorganized attachment partner, they may feel this being pulled in at the same time. There's a block that they cannot get in. So they feel the being almost, there's always a crisis that call them in to resolve it. But in the same time, they feel so helpless that they cannot help, they cannot do anything because their partner doesn't allow them to come inside. So it's struggling for both people. And how does it all come out? Like what kind of situation, parent-child situation, dynamic that creates this kind of disorganized attachment style? So Mary May was the one that added this disorganized attachment style to all the attachment styles. Started with John Bowlby. If you want to review what the theory and the practice of attachment develop, and I have this video on attachment theory and how to build secure attachment video, and if you can watch that one. Generally speaking, the primary caregiver of a child that's either suffering some from mental illness or trauma, that they're in a state that they cannot regulate their own nervous system. So for a moment, they could be very intrusive with their child, either physically intrusive, emotionally, energetically, and sometimes sexually. And at the same time, or very shortly, they will oscillate between that neediness, you need to be here for me, receive me and my energy, and be in my space, versus push the child away by ignoring the child's needs, and a lot of times a misattunement. And so the child doesn't being seen and reflected and validated as a separate being, instead almost being used as this soothing toy, almost like a stuffy. So the child feels like in front of the parent, they either being pulled in to take care of the parent's needs, where they feel they serve a function to be in this dynamic. And then on the other side, when their needs are present, are not being met and being seen, they feel that they're being shut out of this dynamic, this parent-child system. So the parents become a source of safety they're craving. See me, meet my needs. You're the only person I know that can meet my needs. And in the same time, they're a source of danger for the child. Their needs are not being met, and they have to take care of the parents' needs a lot of time. So the child is confused. And for the child grow up into adults, they constantly feel not safe in the world. Their nervous system was never fully regulated, down-regulated, and co-regulated by the caregiver. So they don't know what it feels like to be safe, and it's very hard for them to trust others to be their attached figure. So you can imagine when they grow up into adults, they have this wanting to trust their partner, attached person, and at the same time, as soon as they get closer and they feel this fear, that's intrinsic fear and unsafety, that they need to run away at the same time. There you see the brake and the gas at the same time. It's a very energy inefficient and very painful for them and for their partner. So let's take a look at from the somatic parts work perspective. What are the parts could be involved for the disorganized attachment? If we're looking at it from the internal family system categories and starting from the managers, there could be a manager part that is hypervigilant. You may notice that in your body by having your eyes always scanning around, always looking for danger, and also feel this like tightness in the neck and rigidity in the neck that's being blocked, right? A lot of tension in the neck. And there could be another manager part that show up as what we call the critic. And they are very also watchful, waiting for the other person to reject them, to deny them, just like their primary caregiver, rejecting and denying their needs and who they are as a person. And that generally show up as tightening in the throat, in the chest, and sometimes a headache, because if you have so much tension in this region and blocking the circulation of blood and air, you can imagine you start to feel you have a headache, right? And on the firefighter categories, and they tend to be very impulsive and reactive to protect us, you may see this part that's called avoider. They're the one that runs away. You can see, feel that in the feet, and really restless, always want to move and always look out for the way out, and wanted to block the heart, so cold heart, no circulation here, and feel like you cannot connect with the other person heart to heart, right? And then the other one could be what we call dissociating, the one that's number, that's very numb. They dissociate, and that's the flight response. And they're just not present in the moment with their partner anymore. When you talk to them, you can see that their eyes might be glossy. It seems like they're not paying attention to what you're saying. They're not really fully there. And there's a lot of freezing you see in the chest area. And I see that their breath is not deep enough to nurture them and to give them vitality. And they could be also a young part, what we call the exiles, that is literally being abandoned and disregarded, and the child always feel unsafe. And so the child could be having shaking hands or even belly ache, feeling there's a hollowness in the belly that's not nurtured enough. So I was watching this movie Spirit Away, the Japanese anime, with my children, and the no face really reminds me of this exile part. That's, blank, disconnected, and very needy in some way, and always make that sound, wanted to be seen and wanted to be taken care of by others, but then whatever feeds the no face is not enough, right? Its belly got super big. It take on the shape of whatever it's eating, but is not full. Emotionally, there's an emptiness in the stomach and wanting care, craving for care, but doesn't feel very safe. So those are only the parts I can think of, and I'm listing as I take notes and map in my own body. You're welcome to do your own work, either by yourself with a guided psychotherapist, to explore all those parts that's being formed throughout your childhood if you were developed this disorganized attachment style. So now there are some tips for you. You may say, well, there are so many parts. What if they all come out at the same time? Yes, actually, that's the disorganization looks like and feels like. It's overwhelming when all those parts start to show up at the same time and dominating your system, fighting with each other, wanting some center stage, want some airtime. So my tips for you is, number one, when you notice that you're being overwhelmed, you want to do some grounding exercise. So I will give you a standalone meditation at the end, help you to ground. So that way you connect it to the source and you're not being swept away by all this energy. So the second one is when you develop this observing ego to watch and to get to know those parts. You can do that through psychotherapy, talk therapy, somatic work, parts work. You can also chart them by making a map and write their names down. You can draw if that's your creative, you like to draw. You can also sing, you can do some dramatic play with each of the parts, get to know them and start to allow them to have dialogues with you. But the important thing is to give them this voice. You want to be in charge, you want to develop this sense of self in you to say, hey, I'm in charge now. Remind them your age, where you are physically, the timeline you have in this world, and tell them only one speak to me at a time. Who wants to speak first? You want to have a talking stick. And do not overwhelm me. Promise me you do not overwhelm me when I listen to you. And your parts will make agreement with you. And also using the trauma work titration, which means you may listen to this part for a little bit and say, okay, that's enough for today. I can hear. I'm going to feel my body and be present in the world. Look around, try something in your room that's comforting for you. You can find a cuddly, soft blanket. You can look at your plants and you can press your feet into the floor and say, I'm back in this physical realm. And you can put your hand on your heart gently, feel the palpitation of your heart, the strength of your heartbeat. You can breathe, and with the ocean sound breath, tighten your throat to exhale. So really bring awareness to your body to, I'm in this physical body right now, and I can go back and listen to you, and you can get in and out of this experience, internal, external. So you're not being overwhelmed, overstimulated by the information your parts are providing for you. And if you're in a relationship, it's good to practice what we call the graceful exit. When you feel overwhelmed by your parts, you start to dissociate, you start to run away, or you want to fight, you're in the fighting part. You want to tell your partner that I need some time for myself to ground to center, and then I will return at what time. We can continue with our conversation. Right now I need to be internal with myself for a little bit. Or go for a walk, go spend time with your pet and your friend to get some co-regulation. So those are the tips for you. And are you ready for a short meditation with some soothing music? So this short meditation is good for you when you need a moment to be regulating yourself. All right. So take a moment to feel your feet on the ground. You can lift up your 10 toes and gently drop one at a time on the floor. And notice the front and the back of your feet, the side, each side of your feet. So you're rocking your feet, the four corners of your feet on the floor, and gently push down and feel the earth and the floor that's pushing back and supporting your feet. And you can spread your feet, allowing this energy to support you. Now put one hand or both hands on your heart and notice your heartbeat, the rhythmic motion of your heartbeat. And allow the rhythm to rock you gently, side to side, front to back, very subtly. And feeling grateful for its never-ceasing motion to support you. And how your breath just come in and out without need to control it. And now you can pay attention to your sits bone and imagine there's a rope, what we call a grounding cord. You release the grounding cord. Let it drop with gravity to the center of the earth. And in the center, the core of the earth, there's a socket just for you with your name on it. So you hook it, lock it, and then you can expand your grounding cord as wide as your seat. The cushion, the chair you're sitting on, as wide as that. So you can feel the energy from the center of the earth rise up through the cord and nurture your body. And you are secured and you are safe in this position. And now if you can reach your hand to the side, imagine in front of you and around you, this is your energy field. And you can tuck them in gently as if you're bringing some cotton candy and get them all fluffy and tight and around you, very snug. You're being supported by that, your own energy. Great. So in this moment, wherever you are safe in this moment. Your heartbeat, your breath are connecting and supporting you, and your energies around you. In this moment, you're safe. You can always return to this place of safety throughout your day. I will see you next week, my friends.